Hi, I'm Silver. During quarantine, I decided to challenge myself and build a castle in Minecraft. I was mostly done with the castle when my brother said I should record it, and I thought it would be cool to share my project. The castle is done, so I've recorded building the wall and gate instead, and I'll continue to record future projects. I'll also record a tour of the castle. I built a small sample wall off to the side that I used as a guide. You can see it in the back here. The first segment of the wall was the hardest to get right, but once I got past it, I really got into a good flow. I learned a trick many years ago, I don't remember where, about using item frames and slabs to make wall sconces for torches, and I used the invisible item frames in 1.16 to make it look a bit better. I didn't want the castle or wall to just be a square, and I wanted to make it a bit more of a challenge, so I threw in some weird diagonals like this 8-block diagonal. I was recording this at 6:30 in the morning. I was tired, and as mentioned earlier, I'd reached a state of flow while building. So when the wandering trader appeared, it really threw me for a loop. You can see a slight pause after I added the torches when I had to gather my breath. For anyone wanting to do something like this, or another big project, I cannot stress enough how important it is to plan ahead. You can see the wool I used to mark the location of the wall and other buildings, and I also used wool for the castle, including marking the heights for the different rooms and towers. Even before setting up the wool, I sketched general blueprints on some paper. Keep in mind that the first plan is just a guide. I ended up changing a few things like the inner layout and the tower heights when I actually built them. It feels so good to watch the wool disappear. It had been there since the start of the project, and the castle took about 23 hours over the course of a month to complete. So seeing the placeholder become an actual structure after all this time is just so nice. I had quite a bit of trouble with the first segment of the outer wall. I guess it took me a while to figure out my own pattern. There's something so satisfying about watching yourself go back and forth like a printer and making something cool. The entire wall without the gate and towers took a little over 2 hours to build, and that doesn't include the half hour or so I spent playing around with the sample. I made the sample a 4-block pattern to make it easier, since all the diagonals were divisible by 2, though I still had some hiccups along the way. When I built the wall, I didn't consider that the outside wouldn't line up and connect like the inside did, so I didn't really have a plan for the corners. I think I decided I would use towers about halfway through the outer wall, and as you can see by the first tower, I made another sample between clips. The more you do something, the easier it tends to be, and that was definitely true about the wall. The towers were a bit harder to get right, and I missed a few bits that I had to fix after, but the gate was easily the hardest part of the project. Easily the hardest. And I wasn't sure exactly what I was doing when I built it. Again, I made a sample before, and you can see how many times I had to go back and try to figure out what I'd already built. For the inside of the gate, I just decided to continue the pattern of the inner wall, but I wanted the outside to stand out a bit more, while staying true to the style. The sample was only half of the gate, since I figured I would just mirror it, but then I had no idea what to do with the top and the in-between area. For the gate itself, I tried to figure out how to make it look like it fits into the ground, but what I was doing wasn't working, and I ended up changing it after, and then I got some ideas from the internet. I hope you enjoyed, and maybe my progress will inspire you. Have an awesome day!